You had said, we solved the problem. You sent the 8D report the customer expected, and you restarted the normal shipment order. But 3 months later, that phone rings again. Same customer, same error, same part, same nightmare. And this time, the conditions are much heavier. Customer trust is zero. The manageability of the problem is at an impossible point. The most dangerous misconception in the automotive world is to think we solved the problem. If you only applied a Band-Aid, it means that error returning is inevitable. I am Halil Ibrahim, a mechanical engineer and manager in the global automotive sector. Today, we are breaking this recurring error cycle forever. Grab your tea, your coffee, sit back and collect your focus here. Because just finding the root cause is not enough. We are in the final episode of our 8D series, where we will see how you will solve that cause on the field and how you will guarantee your system. In D5, we will choose the best moves. In D6, we will prove them on the field. In D7, we will take the future under protection. And in D8, we will close that file with success, never to be opened again. How is a professional 8D finished? If you are ready, let's get in our vehicle and go on a journey towards the inside of the real operation. Now let's remember how we got here. With D0, we gave our first reaction, we extinguished the fire and protected the customer. In D1, we gathered the right team. In D2, we defined the problem with data. We turned noise into information. In D3, we wove our security wall with interim measures. And in D4, we proved those famous root causes with a forensic meticulousness. Let's return to our case. Our target was a 10 plus or minus 0.1 millimeter perfect shaft hole, but our parts had drifted down to 9.80 millimeters. Through the on/off tests we performed in the D4 step, we found the problems one by one. The occurrence root cause of the error was the uncontrolled deviation in the coolant concentration and the tool life having come to an end. Escape cause was that our measurement system remained too sluggish to catch these small deviations. Our system root cause was the absence of any measures for this wear in the maintenance and design instructions. We didn't just guess the root causes, we validated them in the production. Our D4 step is finished, we found the killers, but now we are at the most dangerous curve. Which of the dozens of solutions on the table will truly save us? D5 is the chessboard in automotive. We definitely have no luxury of making a wrong move here. Most teams just find one solution and immediately run to the process. Professionals, however, lay the options on the table. According to IATF 16949 Clause 10.2.3, professionals here lay the options on the table not only according to their cost, but also according to error-proofing strength and statistical confidence criteria. In our shaft hole case, you must close 3 separate legs: occurrence, escape, and system. For the occurrence root cause, we put the actions of an automatic coolant mixer to take the tool temperature under control and a locked life counter to track tool life on the table. Here, we are operating the Poka-Yoke philosophy. When the tool life is full, before producing an erroneous part, the machine will stop and demand that you change the tool. For escape, we made the decision to change that sluggish measuring device with a digital indicator with data output and high precision where we can see the deviations instantly. We must decouple the problem from operator initiative as much as possible. On the system side, we updated our maintenance and design standards that allowed this error in the design phase. Now, while commissioning a new tool, our standards will automatically demand these actions. But stop, just finding the actions isn't enough. You must also do a risk analysis for the new situation. The critical question we must ask is this: do the solutions we found break somewhere else while fixing something? For example, is there a new failure risk of the automatic system we installed? You must reopen your FMEA file and weigh the side effects of each permanent corrective action you chose with a forensic meticulousness. Do not just lower the scoring. Question whether a new failure mode has been born in VDA standards. Finally, before making big investments in the process, verification is a must. Before spreading the new systems to the whole factory, we established them as a pilot in the problematic line and did trials. With the results on paper and small-scale trial results, we confirmed that our actions worked effectively, meaning the theory held in the field. We know that this new system will truly protect us when we remove the interim measures. Now, we are ready to spread the operation to the field and do validation. That is the D6 step. With the green light we received from the pilot area, we are now at the time of doing validation in the field. The D6 step is not just an assembly phase, it is a documentation discipline. According to IATF 16949 Clause 10.2.3, you must proceed through an implementation plan where the person responsible and the completion date of each action are recorded. Now that automatic mixer is in use, the locked life counter is active, and those sensitive digital indicators have taken their place right in front of the operator. We are at the time of measuring the effectiveness of the actions we took, that is, the effectiveness control expected by automotive. In this phase, the greatest pressure is the question of when the security wall we added in step D3, which has been reducing the company's profitability for a long time, will be removed. As a professional manager, you should neither rush nor act slowly and use labor incorrectly with unnecessary controls. When permanent actions descend to the field, your first task should be to update the standard work instructions, SIT, and on-the-job trainings, OJT. You cannot tear down that wall before all employees fully internalize the new standard. The first place place a VDA 6.3 auditor will look when they knock on your door is here. Did the actions descend to the field, and did the employees turn this into a reflex? Just installing the equipment is not enough. You must be sure that every single operator on the field has adopted and applied the new standards. The eyes of the OEMs are on you. Ford's 20 working day rule is ticking. You cannot just write "we did it" to Ford's FOSN, Volkswagen's KPM-QS, or GM's supply power systems. We record the technical evidences on the field, the training records, and our new standards that say this error can no longer occur here, and update the customer portals. But remember, just as acting slowly to remove interim measures is a mistake, rushing is also a very big mistake. We only need one thing to remove unnecessary controls: real validation data coming from the field. We put the actions into use in the field. However, the automotive world doesn't look at you saying, "I did it." It always looks at you proving it. We start the validation process, which is the heart of D6, by manipulating the system. In professional language, we call this a provocation test, or rabbit part audit. What exactly did we do in our case? We attached a deliberately worn tool to the system, or set the tool life counter to end of life on purpose, and observed the reaction of the system. The technological armor we designed, that is, that level 3 Poka-Yoke system, must catch the error at the moment it is born and lock the bench instantly. If the system says stop to this provocation, it means you have crossed the first big hurdle. However, provocation testing alone is not enough. The automotive sector expects a statistical stability from us. According to IATF standards, you have to measure the capability and performance of the new process with concrete data. In our case, we gathered serial production data of at least 30 to 50 parts and created our SPC charts. If our CPK value is above the 1.33 value, or even above the 1.67 value, according to special customer requests, we will have statistically proven that our process is now not only correct, but at the same time stable and reliable. The moment you take this validation data in your hand, we can safely remove that tired security wall, maybe for months, reducing the company's profitability. That is 100% manual control. But remember, you cannot just write "the problem is over" to close this step in OEM systems like Ford's FOSN portal or Volkswagen's KPM-QS. You must upload the records of the provocation test, statistical capability reports, and up-to-date audit results on the field to the customer portal as an evidence pack. Now we are moving to the most critical phase for this success to be permanent and standardized in all similar operations: intervention in the DNA of the error, that is, the D7 dissemination step. We successfully destroyed the problem on line A, but for a professional manager, this is not enough. According to IATF standards, now you must make the most critical and highest scoring move: Yokoten dissemination. We have to ask this question: is the risk only in this machine, or are our other lines with similar technology, even our sister factories in different countries, facing this silent killer? We are spreading the automatic mixer and tool life counter solution, in our case, to all operations carrying potential risk as a corporate standard. OEMs like Volkswagen and Audi Group will demand precisely the geographical and technical evidence of this dissemination from you over their own portals. The D7 step is where we intervene in the DNA of the error and build the documentation fortress. In automotive discipline, just attaching a part to the machine is not considered a permanent solution. You must engrave this bitter experience into corporate memory. We lower the occurrence and detectability risk scores of the relevant failure mode in your FMEA file with data and revise your control plan according to the new digital measurement precision. The technical expectation of Ford, Toyota, Renault, and many OEMs is clear here. Did you transfer the lessons you learned from this error as a design rule to your future projects that are still in the design phase? Now, while a new project is being commissioned in your factory, your design standards will demand these actions automatically at the very beginning. What I mean is, the lessons learned, that is, the file of acquired experiences, being turned into a living organism. But the deepest question is still on the table. Why did our management system allow this error in the design or planning phase? We descend to the most crucial point of our three-legged analysis, that is, the systemic root cause leg. If there is no control item for tool wear in your maintenance plan, or if your purchasing specifications do not mandate the automatic mixer system, this is a serious management system gap. This is the real answer Mercedes-Benz looks for in QEC audits, or BMW looks for in the QMT portal. How did you close the systemic gap, not the operator error? You should take the acquired experience file off the dusty shelves and make it a living guide and an inseparable part of the APQP process, that is, new product commissioning. Remember, experiencing an error once is experience, but allowing the same error to to be reborn in a new project is a systemic failure. The 8D process does not end the moment you send the report to the customer. It ends the moment that report is accepted as forensic evidence. D8 is the final of the 20th day in that famous 1-5-20 rule in the automotive world. In Ford's FOSN portal, in Volkswagen's KPM-QS system, or on Mercedes's QEC screen, or in Tesla's SCAR portal, the operation continues until you see that accepted statement. Many OEMs mandate that the report be officially approved not only by an engineer, but by the factory manager or quality manager at this stage. Even though 8D reporting is an industrial standard in the automotive world, every OEM manages this process over their own digital ecosystem with their own unique technical priorities. Ford, through FOSN and Covisint portals, gives critical importance to evidence traceability and the transfer of learned lessons to future projects. GM expects a data-oriented, extremely fast update tempo via supply power, while Stellantis looks for a flawless logical chain and proof of standardization in Amadeus and SQP portals. Volkswagen and Audi Group demand full compliance with VDA standards and technical dissemination proof in the KPM-QS system. Mercedes-Benz questions detailed governance and analysis outputs with the QEC tool. BMW QMT and Toyota offer a structure that blends A3 methodology with 8D content with SQAM portals. Tesla follows all these critical processes via the SCAR portal and displays a discipline that expects rapid notification and full compliance with the 8D flow like Hyundai and Kia. The trace you leave behind while closing your file is the signature of your professionalism. Do not just put a form in your archive, leave a complete evidence pack containing MSA data, on/off tests proving the root cause, those famous provocation videos, and statistical capability tables. One day, when an IATF auditor knocks on your door, you will not just say to them, "We solved the problem." You will lay this pack on the table and say, "Here is the proof." 8D is not a one-man show. It is a multidisciplinary teamwork. In D8, you must definitely appreciate the quality specialist chasing the 10.00mm shaft hole in those sleepless nights, the maintenance person who installed the automatic mixer, and the operator who strictly obeys the new standard. Appreciating the success of the team, that is, recognizing them, is the strongest fuel employees need in the next crisis. And most importantly, the cooling liquid and toolware lesson, in our case, being turned into a one-page lessons learned card and spreading to all cells of the factory. We have come to the end of our 8D series for now. Tomorrow morning, when you go to work, go across that most annoying error in your field and ask yourself these 3 questions. Is this a Band-Aid or a surgery? Where is my evidence? And has the system's DNA really changed? If your answer is a Band-Aid, without waiting for the phone to ring again, gather your team and restart the operation. Do not just write the standards, live them on the field. I am Halil Ibrahim. For this and many educational videos and technical content like this, you can follow my channel, like my videos, and share them with your friends. Until we meet in the next operation, take care of yourself and stay safe.